Today, I want to talk about gaslighting, but not in a clean, educational way, not with definitions, not with psychology terms. I want to talk about it from the place where it actually lives. Confusion, self-doubt, exhaustion. Because when I was being gaslit, I didn't know that's what it was called. I just knew something felt wrong, and somehow I believed that wrong was me. I remember the first time I questioned my own memory. We had an argument, not even a big one, just something small, something I was sure about. I remembered the words clearly, the tone, the moment. When I brought it up, he looked at me calmly and said, "That never happened." Not aggressively, not angrily, just confidently. And suddenly, I froze, because I knew it happened, but he sounded so sure, so grounded, so certain, and I wasn't. That was the beginning. At first, I laughed it off. I told myself I must be tired. Maybe I misunderstood. Maybe I was being dramatic. He said that a lot. "You're overreacting. You're too sensitive. You always take things the wrong way." And slowly, I stopped trusting my reactions. I started replaying conversations in my head, over and over, trying to figure out where I went wrong. I started asking questions not to understand him, but to check if my feelings were allowed. Is this normal? Am I exaggerating? Should I feel hurt by this? That's how gaslighting works. It doesn't tell you you're crazy. It makes you ask the question yourself. There were moments I felt deeply hurt, and by the end of the conversation, I was apologizing. Apologizing for my tone, for my timing, for bringing it up at all. He never said he was perfect. He just made sure I felt flawed. If I cried, he said I was manipulating him. If I stayed calm, he said I was cold. If I asked for clarity, he said I was interrogating him. No matter what I did, I was wrong, and I kept trying harder. I tried to explain myself better. I tried to be calmer, kinder, less emotional, less needy, less everything. I thought love meant adjusting. What I didn't realize was I was shrinking. There were days I woke up already anxious, not because something bad had happened, but because something might. I became hyper-aware of my words, my tone, my facial expressions. I was constantly managing his reactions while mine were dismissed as problems. And the worst part? He wasn't cruel. That's what made it so confusing. He didn't yell. He didn't insult me openly. He didn't threaten to leave. No one tells you what gaslighting does to you after it settles in. They talk about red flags. They talk about manipulation. They talk about just leaving. But they don't talk about what happens inside your body, inside your mind, inside your sense of self. By the time I realized something was wrong, I wasn't myself anymore. Leaving didn't happen all at once. There was no moment where I suddenly felt strong, no speech, no dramatic goodbye. What I felt was exhaustion, a deep, quiet exhaustion that reached a place anger never could. I didn't leave because I stopped loving him. I left because I couldn't survive loving myself less anymore. At first, I didn't call it leaving. I just stopped explaining. I stopped defending my feelings, stopped correcting the story, stopped trying to make him understand. That was the first boundary I ever set, and it felt terrifying. Because when you've been gaslit for so long, silence feels dangerous. It feels like losing control. I was used to managing his reactions, used to smoothing things over, used to keeping the peace at my own expense. So when I stopped doing that, everything inside me panicked. I questioned myself constantly. Am I being unfair? Am I giving up too easily? Am I the problem after all? Gaslighting doesn't end when the relationship ends. It echoes in your thoughts, in your body, in the way you doubt your own decisions. Some days I wanted to go back just to stop the noise in my head. Not because I missed him, but because familiarity felt safer than freedom. Freedom was quiet, too quiet. There was no one to react to, no one to adjust myself for, no one to tell me who I was being. I had to face myself without distortion, and that was harder than staying. The urge to reach out came in waves. Late at night, early in the morning, during moments of loneliness. I missed the intensity, the emotional highs, even the chaos, because chaos had become home. But I started doing something different. I paused. Every time I wanted to text, to explain, to reopen the conversation, I asked myself one question: will this bring me peace, or will it pull me back into confusion? Most of the time, I already knew the answer. I didn't block him immediately. I didn't erase everything. I wasn't trying to punish him. I was trying to protect myself. I learned that closure doesn't come from confrontation. It comes from consistency, from choosing yourself over and over again, especially on the days it hurts. Slowly, I stopped needing answers, because answers from someone who manipulates reality are never stable. I stopped asking why and started asking, what does this cost me? And the cost was always the same: my clarity, my peace, my sense of self. There were days I felt like I was grieving someone who was still alive,